Every morning, many people wake up already tense. The mind starts pushing. You must succeed. You must fix everything. You must control what comes next. This pressure feels normal, but it is the reason life feels heavy. Stoic wisdom teaches something different. Life is not meant to be forced. Strength comes from calm alignment, not struggle. The first rule is to accept the day before trying to shape it. When you wake up, remind yourself that not everything today is yours to control. People may act badly. Plans may change. Effort may not bring instant results. This is not failure. This is reality. When you accept this early, your mind stops fighting shadows. You save energy for what actually matters. Each morning begins before the world asks anything from you. This moment matters because it shapes how you meet the day. Many people wake up already resisting what has not yet happened. They imagine problems, delays, difficult people, and unexpected changes. And they tense their minds against these possibilities. This resistance creates pressure before any real effort has begun. Stoic thinking teaches that peace starts with acceptance, not surrender, but clear recognition of reality as it is likely to be. Accepting the day does not mean giving up control of your actions. It means understanding that events will unfold according to forces larger than your wishes. The weather, other people's moods, sudden obstacles, and timing are not yours to command. When you accept this early, your mind stops arguing with reality. You no longer waste energy fighting what is unavoidable. Instead, you prepare yourself to respond well. In the quiet of the morning, remind yourself that today will contain things you prefer and things you do not. This is not a negative thought. It is a grounding one. When difficulty appears later, it feels familiar rather than shocking. You are not offended by it. You are not angry at life for behaving like life. Acceptance removes surprise, and surprise is often the source of frustration. Many people confuse acceptance with weakness. They believe that if they do not push immediately, they will fall behind. Stoic wisdom shows the opposite. The person who accepts reality sees clearly. Clear sight leads to better decisions. When you are not emotionally tangled with how things should be, you can act wisely within how things are. By accepting the day as it comes, you stop demanding that it meet your expectations. Expectations often turn into silent contracts with life, and life never signs them. When these contracts are broken, disappointment follows. Acceptance tears up these contracts before they cause harm. You enter the day flexible, not rigid, prepared, not defensive. This mindset also softens your interaction with others. You stop expecting perfect behavior. You recognize that people carry their own struggles, fears, and limitations. When someone is rude, slow, or careless, you do not take it as a personal attack. You expected imperfection. Because of this, you remain calm and composed, which is real strength. Accepting the day does not make you passive. It makes you intentional. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. You choose your effort instead of scattering it. You stop pushing against walls and start looking for doors. This shift saves time, energy, and mental clarity. When you begin the day with acceptance, your body also relaxes. Tension decreases. Breathing slows. The mind becomes steady. From this steady place, action becomes clean and focused. There is no rush to prove anything. There is only the quiet decision to do what is right, step by step. This morning acceptance also prepares you for loss and delay. If plans fail, you adjust. If progress is slow, you continue. If recognition does not come, you remain firm. Nothing essential is taken from you, because you did not tie your peace to outcomes beyond your control. Accepting the day as it comes is an act of discipline. It trains the mind to stop fighting imaginary battles. It reminds you that your role is not to command the world, but to command yourself. When you do this each morning, life feels less like a struggle and more like a path you walk with awareness, patience, and inner strength. Each morning offers a simple choice: to chase everything or to focus on what truly belongs to you. Most frustration comes from confusing these two. People try to manage outcomes, control opinions, and predict the future, and when these things refuse to obey, tension grows. Stoic wisdom begins by drawing a clear line between what depends on you and what does not. What depends on you is limited but powerful. Your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your restraint, and your attitude are yours to shape. No one can take these unless you allow it. Everything else exists outside your command. When you waste energy on things you cannot control, you weaken your focus on the few things you can. In the morning, before action begins, bring your attention inward. Ask yourself what is truly within your power today. You can choose to speak honestly. You can choose to act with discipline. You can choose to stay calm when pressure appears. You can choose patience when results are slow. These choices shape your character, and character shapes the quality of your life. Many people believe control brings security. They try to manage every detail, every response, every outcome. This creates anxiety because the world is not designed to be controlled by one mind. Stoic thinking teaches that peace comes from alignment, not domination. When you work within your limits, effort becomes effective instead of exhausting. Focusing on what depends on you also protects you from disappointment. If you measure success only by outcomes, you live at the mercy of chance. When you measure success by effort and intention, you remain stable. You can walk away from each day knowing you did your part, regardless of how events unfolded. This approach changes how you face challenges. When something goes wrong, you stop asking why it happened and start asking how you will respond. The first question often leads to frustration. The second leads to action. Response is always within your control. Reaction is not. By narrowing your focus, your mind becomes sharper. You stop spreading attention across worries and begin applying it to meaningful work. Small actions, done consistently, create progress. You no longer feel pulled in every direction. You move forward with purpose. This discipline also strengthens emotional control. When praise comes, you do not become inflated. When criticism comes, you do not collapse. You understand that opinions belong to others, not to you. What belongs to you is how you carry yourself in the face of them. Each morning, return to this rule. Let go of the need to control what is not yours. Release concern over timing, recognition, and reward. Place your attention on effort, honesty, and persistence. These are solid ground. Everything else is shifting sand. When you live this way, pressure decreases but strength increases. You act without fear, because you are not gambling your peace on outcomes. You do your work fully and step away without regret. This is the freedom Stoicism offers, the freedom that comes from knowing exactly where your power begins and ends. Most people wake up and rush. They feel the day slipping before it begins, and panic sets in. Every second seems to demand action, every task feels urgent, every message requires an immediate reply. This sense of urgency drives people to force events, push outcomes, and scramble in anxiety. Stoic thought teaches a different approach. Remove urgency from the mind and act without panic. The calm mind achieves more than the anxious one. When you start the day, notice the tension that comes from imagined deadlines and imagined crises. Many of these pressures do not yet exist. They are projections of the mind, fears about what might happen, worries about consequences that are not real in this moment. Recognizing this is the first step. The second step is to release it. Urgency is a choice, not a requirement. You can decide to act steadily, not violently. Acting without urgency does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means applying effort at the right pace, with attention and precision. When the mind is calm, each action is clearer. Mistakes decrease. Decisions are wiser. You notice opportunities that frantic thought misses. Urgency clouds judgment, while patience sharpens it. The person who moves with composure is more effective in all matters. Morning is the perfect time to practice this. Before the world imposes demands, set a rhythm of steady thought. Organize your tasks, but do not pressure them into immediate results. Recognize that some things take time. Growth, understanding, relationships, progress, they are all gradual. Rushing them creates tension and often ruins them. Calm effort respects their natural pace and allows your energy to flow efficiently. Removing urgency also changes the way you handle obstacles. When delays occur, people panic. They push harder, speak sharper, act faster, and still the problem persists. The calm mind treats obstacles as part of the path. Delay is not disaster. Difficulty is not failure. Acting steadily through resistance is a demonstration of strength and discipline. When urgency fades, resilience grows. This mindset extends to every area of life. Decisions about work, relationships, and personal growth are clearer when urgency does not dominate. You can think before speaking, act with intention, and respond to challenges without reactivity. The mind that hurries creates regret. The mind that moves with patience creates wisdom. Each morning, remind yourself that the day's tasks do not demand panic, but careful, deliberate action. Urgency often arises from the fear of missing out or from imagined competition. You feel that if you do not act immediately, opportunities will vanish. Stoic practice teaches that opportunity belongs to those who are prepared, not to those who panic. When you act from calm, you are always ready to seize the right moment. Urgency may move quickly, but it often moves incorrectly. Patience moves deliberately, and it rarely fails. Calm action also preserves energy. Forcing everything drains both mind and body. Frantic effort depletes focus, and exhaustion reduces effectiveness. By acting without urgency, you maintain stamina, clarity, and creativity. The day becomes manageable. Tasks do not dominate you, you manage them with poise. The morning practice of releasing urgency creates a habit that influences the entire day. Each task is approached with care, each decision made with clarity, and each interaction conducted without reactivity. You become aware of your pace and adjust it to match the natural rhythm of events, rather than forcing the world to obey your anxiety. Through this practice, you cultivate a quiet power. Others may rush and strain, but you act steadily and decisively. You no longer push against life, but move with it. Every morning spent in calm preparation strengthens the mind, hones discipline, and transforms the way you engage with the world, producing results that panic and force never achieve. Life is full of obstacles, and many people react to them with frustration or anger. When plans fail or difficulties arise, the mind resists, complains, and laments. This reaction multiplies suffering. Stoic wisdom teaches a different approach. Expect difficulty without resentment. Morning is the ideal time to prepare for challenges, to remind yourself that resistance is part of existence, and to train your mind to meet hardship with calm and strength. Expecting difficulty begins with understanding the nature of life. Nothing in the world is guaranteed to go smoothly. Relationships will encounter conflict, work will face delays, and unforeseen events will appear. The person who believes life should be easy sets themselves up for disappointment. Recognizing in advance that challenges will come reduces the shock when they appear. Preparation softens the blow, and mental composure is preserved. Morning reflection allows you to set this expectation before the day's events arrive. As you wake, consider the obstacles that may appear. Some are obvious, some are hidden. Perhaps a difficult conversation awaits, or a task will take longer than anticipated. Maybe someone will act unfairly, or plans will shift unexpectedly. Visualizing these possibilities is not pessimism. It is a form of mental training, a rehearsal of resilience. When difficulty arises, those unprepared often resist instinctively. They argue, complain, and push against reality. This resistance consumes energy, clouds judgment, and prolongs the problem. Stoic thought encourages acceptance of the challenge itself. When you expect obstacles, you meet them with readiness rather than surprise. The difficulty no longer controls you, you control your response. Resentment has no foothold, because expectation has already built understanding. Expectation does not mean resignation. It does not mean ignoring action. On the contrary, it strengthens action. When you anticipate difficulty, you act deliberately and thoughtfully. You allocate energy wisely, prioritize tasks, and engage with problems without panic. You do not waste effort resisting what must happen. Instead, your focus is on what you can do to navigate it effectively. Obstacles become teachers, shaping patience, strategy, and endurance. This mindset changes your emotional life profoundly. Life contains inevitable setbacks, and expecting them neutralizes their emotional sting. When plans are delayed, you do not feel cheated. When criticism arrives, you do not collapse. You understand that these experiences are part of the natural flow of existence. By embracing them mentally before they occur, you preserve calm and clarity, even in chaos. Daily practice reinforces this habit. Each morning, remind yourself that challenges are part of the journey. When you do so consistently, your mind grows stronger. You no longer dread obstacles. You anticipate them calmly, viewing them as opportunities to practice discipline and resilience. This repeated rehearsal creates a buffer between reality and emotional reaction, giving you freedom to act wisely. Expecting difficulty also improves relationships. Others will fail, disappoint, or frustrate you. When this is anticipated, you respond with patience instead of anger. You remain composed when plans change, avoiding unnecessary conflict. Expectation becomes a shield, allowing you to navigate interactions without letting the behavior of others dictate your inner peace. Obstacles also become a measure of growth. When you expect them, you see each challenge as a chance to strengthen character. Every hardship faced without resentment reinforces self-control and wisdom. The mind trained in this way becomes adaptable, resilient, and powerful. You develop the ability to endure, to act decisively, and to remain calm in uncertainty. Morning preparation to expect difficulty aligns your mind with reality. The world is not required to be smooth or easy, and resisting it only brings suffering. When you train yourself to meet hardship without resentment, you conserve energy, maintain focus, and act with precision. Challenges lose their power to destabilize you because your mind has already learned to accept them as part of life's natural course. Many people approach life as if every task must be forced, every obstacle must be conquered immediately, and every moment requires frantic effort. This mindset leads to exhaustion, frustration, and mistakes. Stoic wisdom suggests a different approach. They work steadily, not forcefully. Consistent, calm effort achieves more than bursts of desperate action. The morning is the perfect time to set this intention, to train the mind to move with patience and persistence, rather than tension and haste. Working steadily begins with understanding the rhythm of effort. Life unfolds in stages, and results often appear slowly. Rushing or forcing progress does not accelerate outcomes, it often distorts them. A hurried hand produces sloppy work, a rushed decision creates unnecessary problems, and frantic energy spreads the mind thin. Calm, deliberate effort, however, produces clarity, precision, and resilience. By moving steadily, you conserve energy while achieving greater effect. Morning offers an opportunity to organize your day with this principle in mind. Begin by prioritizing what matters most and identifying what can realistically be achieved. Avoid the temptation to do everything at once or to push through fatigue. By pacing yourself intentionally, each action is performed with full attention and purpose. This measured approach strengthens both mind and body, ensuring that effort is sustainable rather than fleeting. Steady work also builds mastery. Skills, knowledge, and habits are developed over time, not in moments of forced intensity. By committing to consistent effort, you improve gradually and reliably. Each morning, remind yourself that progress is the result of repeated, focused action rather than desperate striving. The patient worker achieves depth, while the frantic worker achieves only superficial motion. This principle extends to emotional and mental effort as well. People often force calmness, discipline, or patience, creating tension when they try too hard. True steadiness comes from accepting the natural pace of growth and allowing practice to shape the mind gradually. Attempting to rush virtue or character leads to frustration, while steady cultivation produces strength that endures. Each morning becomes an exercise in this discipline, a rehearsal in consistency and measured action. Working steadily also influences relationships and interactions. When you move forcefully, you pressure others, react impulsively, and escalate conflicts. Calm, steady effort fosters understanding, patience, and effective communication. You act with intention rather than reflex, guiding situations without forcing them. Your presence becomes stabilizing rather than disruptive, and people respond naturally to composure and clarity. Obstacles are handled differently when effort is steady. The frantic mind struggles against difficulty, attempting to push past resistance with raw force. The steady mind evaluates the situation, takes necessary steps, and adapts without panic. Challenges become manageable because energy is preserved and attention is focused. You are not depleted by the struggle, and your actions remain effective. Persistence, not pressure, becomes your greatest tool. The morning habit of steady work also reduces anxiety. When you stop trying to force outcomes, you stop creating unnecessary tension. The mind can focus on immediate tasks and essential actions, rather than worrying about what cannot be controlled. This clarity enhances productivity, improves decision-making, and allows creativity to flourish. Life moves forward with less resistance because you move forward with patience and purpose. Steadiness cultivates resilience. Setbacks, delays, and failures are inevitable, but they are less disruptive when effort is consistent. A mind trained in calm persistence recovers quickly, adjusts intelligently, and continues moving forward. Forceful effort, by contrast, collapses under pressure, creating repeated cycles of frustration and fatigue. By embracing steady work each morning, you build a foundation that carries you through challenges, strengthens discipline, and ensures long-term progress. Many people tie their sense of worth to results, believing that success, praise, or recognition defines who they are. This attachment creates anxiety, disappointment, and constant striving. Stoic wisdom teaches a different approach: detach from outcomes and focus on character. True strength lies not in what happens around you, but in how you act and carry yourself through the circumstances of life. Each morning offers a chance to practice this principle, reminding yourself that integrity, patience, and discipline matter more than external approval. Detachment from results begins with understanding what you can control and what you cannot. You cannot guarantee how others will respond, whether plans will succeed, or whether circumstances will unfold as expected. Effort alone does not produce predictable outcomes. When you cling to the idea that outcomes define you, you give away your peace to forces beyond your reach. Focusing on character shifts power back into your hands, where it belongs. In the morning, before the world imposes its demands, reflect on this distinction. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be today, not what success you hope to achieve. Will you act with honesty, patience, and calm? Will you speak thoughtfully, respond rather than react, and maintain composure when challenged? These choices are within your power, and they shape the quality of your life far more reliably than external events ever could. Detaching from results does not mean ignoring consequences or avoiding effort. On the contrary, it intensifies effort, because actions are taken with purpose, rather than desperation. When your attention is on doing what is right, instead of chasing approval, each step is deliberate and meaningful. The mind becomes free from fear, judgment, and obsession, allowing energy to flow into productive work and deliberate action. This mindset changes how you handle setbacks. When plans fail or outcomes disappoint, the detached mind does not collapse. There is no panic or bitterness because your sense of value is anchored in conduct, not outcome. You examine the situation calmly, learn what lessons are present, and move forward with integrity intact. Failure becomes a teacher, not a tormentor, because it cannot touch the essence of your character. Detachment also fosters emotional stability. People often suffer because they allow praise or criticism to define them. They are elated by success and crushed by failure. By focusing on character instead of results, these external forces lose their power. You remain steady, regardless of the circumstances, and your mind is free to act with clarity, wisdom, and effectiveness. In daily life, this practice produces subtle but powerful effects. Work becomes purposeful rather than frantic. Interactions with others are thoughtful rather than reactive. Decisions are guided by principle rather than fear or desire for recognition. The calm, disciplined mind becomes reliable, respected, and unshaken, not because the world bends to it, but because it moves with consistency and integrity. Morning reflection solidifies this approach. Begin each day by deciding who you will be, rather than what you will achieve. Picture the tasks, challenges, and interactions ahead, and remind yourself that your role is to respond rightly, with honesty, patience, and discipline. Outcomes may vary, but the cultivation of character remains steady. This focus builds a resilient mind, capable of navigating uncertainty, handling pressure, and maintaining composure under stress. By detaching from results and centering on character, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and anxiety. Life may bring delays, mistakes, or disappointments, but these do not diminish the value of your effort or the integrity of your actions. Each morning spent practicing this principle reinforces self-mastery, clarity, and inner strength, creating a foundation that no external circumstance can shake, and allowing you to move through the day with calm, focused, and intentional energy. Each morning presents a choice: to let life control you through fear, frustration, and reaction, or to meet it with calm discipline and awareness. Many people wake up and immediately surrender to impulses, worries, and the demands of the world. They chase outcomes, react to events, and push themselves against circumstances. Stoic wisdom teaches that strength comes from choosing calm discipline over force, from aligning effort with reason rather than desire. Practicing this each morning sets the tone for the entire day. Choosing calm discipline begins with observing your mind. Notice the impulses to rush, complain, or demand immediate results. Recognize the tension that comes from wanting life to obey your expectations. This awareness alone is the first act of strength. It separates you from the automatic reactions that often dictate behavior and creates space to respond with intention rather than emotion. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. The person who practices self-control is not restricted, but liberated from the chaos of reactive thought. Each morning, remind yourself that your time, attention, and energy are limited. Where you place them defines your effectiveness and peace. Acting with calm discipline means prioritizing what is important, handling tasks with care, and avoiding unnecessary stress caused by impatience or desire for control. This mindset also strengthens resilience. Life will present obstacles, delays, and frustrations, but a disciplined mind faces them without panic. Challenges are met with steadiness rather than anger. Setbacks do not destabilize, because your focus is on action and principle, not outcome or recognition. Calm discipline allows you to endure difficulty without losing clarity, to act strategically rather than react impulsively, and to conserve energy for the efforts that matter most. Morning practice of calm discipline shapes behavior in subtle ways. You speak deliberately rather than impulsively, act with intention rather than force, and make choices that align with your long-term values rather than short-term desires. Each small decision builds character, and repeated disciplined action compounds into strength, resilience, and wisdom. The day becomes manageable because your mind is steady and clear. This approach also impacts relationships. People are often reactive, demanding, or impatient, and interacting with them without calm discipline leads to conflict. When you cultivate composure, patience, and deliberate action, you influence situations positively. You do not feed the tension around you, and others respond more cooperatively. Your calm presence becomes a stabilizing force rather than a source of stress. Calm discipline is especially effective in handling uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. Plans change, people act unexpectedly, and events unfold beyond your control. The mind that reacts to every shift with panic or frustration is constantly depleted. The disciplined mind, however, observes, evaluates, and adjusts. It acts with intelligence and patience, conserving energy and maintaining focus. Each morning spent strengthening this mindset prepares you to navigate the unknown with confidence. Physical and mental energy is preserved through calm discipline. Forcing effort, rushing tasks, or reacting emotionally drains vitality and clouds judgment. A measured, disciplined approach allows energy to be applied efficiently. Tasks are completed effectively, decisions are made wisely, and the mind remains clear for reflection and planning. Over time, this practice builds stamina, focus, and inner strength. By training yourself each morning to choose calm discipline, you create a foundation for the day that cannot be easily shaken. You move through tasks and interactions with purpose, patience, and clarity. You act from reason rather than impulse, from principle rather than desire. Life may be unpredictable, challenges may arise, but the disciplined mind remains steady, capable, and resilient, and strength grows naturally from this consistent practice.